From fun with inflatables to painting up Pennsylvania, Paintball 2Xtremes has what you like here on Spike. Yeah, what do you say we break this thing out? Hey everybody, welcome to Paintball 2Xtremes and the Northeast Open from the great state of Pennsylvania. I'm James Bates, and finally a show for you nearly 12 million paintball participants and, well, those that want to be just like you. We'll take you behind the scenes to the top competitions, give you tips on equipment, strategy, and of course, safety. For proof on all that, here's my co-host, Jennifer Pierce, with an agenda for the first show.
James, let me give you an idea of what we can expect from this episode of PB2X. We're going to find out how you paintballers get your print news. We're going to talk with one of the godfathers of this great game. And finally, we're going to check out the competition at the International Amateur Open. But enough talking. Let's get to the game.
Thanks, Jennifer. We got a lot to cover, don't we? Well, especially when you consider the fact that there are two types of competition to this great sport: scenario and tournament, like this tournament field here. And you guys think you get messy when you get pegged with some paint. How about this poor guy? So we thought, who better to ask for advice on this great sport than, well, the pros, the guys that can't wait to hear game on. Here's the skinny on: burritos, tacos, beer cans, snakes, all you can handle.
My name is Lasoya. I'm captain of Team Infamous, and I'm here to show you how to walk a 7-man and 10-man inflatable airball field. As a professional paintball player, when you first walk in the field, what you first want to do is you want to come to the flag station. You want to make sure you see and project the whole field in your memory so that you see what you see as soon as you're starting from the field. After you do that, you want to make sure that you work out your front, your mid, your back player positions. All the different positions on the field, you want to look at the different lanes, different blind spots, and different places you can go on the field. Off of the break, you want to know where your shooters are going to go, you want to know where your front players are going to go, and you want to know where you're going to end up second and third moves. That's the most important thing. But the first thing you do when you get on the field is you want to get to the flag station, you want to look at the field and visualize the breakout and know what's going to happen from the very beginning.
This is the little sucker that rips the air at 200 miles per hour. And when it makes contact, the results are, well, spectacular. Some incredible impacts, huh? They come fast and furious. And recently, I checked in with our tech expert, Spena, and he gave me the inside scoop on a style of marker that really lets them fly. Basically, there are 3 different styles of paintball markers, 2 of those being air ram styles. And, well, chances are, if you have a marker, it's probably a blowback marker. And Chris, you're probably going to tell us what a blowback marker is, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Here you have a marker all put together, standard blowback marker, and here's its exploded view for you. Basically what happens when you pull the trigger is it trips this C right here, which is under tension from this spring and attached to this hammer. Once you do that, that hammer flies forward, hits this little pin right here, opens this valve, lets the air flow through the bolt onto the paintball, out of the barrel. The recoil gas is used to blow back the bolt, which terms give you the blowback and recock the marker.
And you can change the velocity with that guy, right?
Yeah, James, this is your rear velocity adjuster. The tighter that's screwed in, the tighter the spring tension is, the more increased your velocity becomes.
So the blowback, the most common marker in paintball, so it's not uncommon to see this. Players taking apart their markers for maintenance purposes, but what are some things to look for, some problems that may come up when you're putting them back together?
2 common problems. One, when you're reassembling the marker, make sure that this hole in this piece is called the bolt. Make sure this hole is always facing down so the air can travel up into it. If you reverse it, it will not be able to flow and you will not be able to shoot your marker, essentially. Another real common problem after getting it all put back together, you hear slight leak down the barrel. That comes from right here. There's a little gap where the cup seal meets the valve. Chances are you didn't put enough oil in that when you took it off, and by touching you removed all the oil. So a little bit of oil should fix it right up for you, no problem.
And if you don't feel comfortable in this situation, as always, take it to a pro that knows the tech speak. Aw, Chris looked good in that blue lab coat, didn't he? I think paintballer by day, dentist maybe at night. I don't know. You want to see some of those bad blowbacks in action? Well, when we come back, we've got competition coverage coming up from the Keystone State, along with some tips on keeping your CO2 from blasting off. PB2X is back at you in just a sec.
Paintball 2Xtremes is brought to you by National Paintball Supply, King of Paintball. Bob Long, the man behind the world-renowned Intimidator. And by 32 Degrees, cool as ice.
Welcome back to PB2X. Some youngsters in the national tent getting geared up for the Northeast Open. You know, young pups these days, they respect the sport of paintball, but they don't respect the classics. Movies like Caddyshack, Vacation, The Blues Brothers, a lot of them don't even know who Jake and Elwood are. But not too long ago at a scenario event right up the road, the International Amateur Open, they tried to change all that with a little Blues Brothers feel. Check this out.
Well, Jake Elwood and hundreds of other participants made the trek to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. As the Blues Brothers were to ride again in this scenario event, J.J. Brookshire will be with us throughout this season to help drop some knowledge. And J.J., give us some knowledge on this paintball scenario. A lot of fun for these guys and girls, isn't it?
A lot of fun. You have families playing together. You have them out here in the woods bringing all kinds of odd equipment. These are paintball tanks they'll have out on the field playing. They have a great time.
The tanks aren't the only things that are different in the scenario games. The gear, too. A lot of times in tournament play, you'll see the big flashy colors, guys trying to stand out. Here you want to do everything but that, don't you?
Yeah, here you'll see camouflage ghillie suits. Some of these guys will make their own ghillie suits. They'll camo up. Others will show up in their tournament clothes and play.
Bigfoot, been known to roam the parts of southwest Pennsylvania. Here you see they're in the woods, but you also see some of the inflatables. Some of the bunkers come into play at times in scenario events.
Yeah, you often have to supplement the playing field because Mother Nature doesn't always provide bunkers or trees in the right place. So you'll put a few bunkers out there yourself, and it allows the movement to be fluid and keeps players from being trapped on one side of the field or the other.
Got a lot of guys in those woods looking out at those open fields. Hundreds showed up here to Pennsylvania, but at times the numbers get up to 1,000, don't they?
There have been playing events out there actually with over 4,000 participants at one time. Scenario games can be huge. They can last many days over hundreds of acres with thousands of participants.
And when you get eliminated like that dude right there, you don't want to sit out for days, so it's usually about 30 minutes in these scenario games. You like your first taste? Well, we've got a whole lot more for you as the season progresses. You don't want to miss it.
And just like there were a lot of cop cars busted up in the Blues Brothers movie, there were a lot of paintballs busted up at this year's IAO event. A lot of paint being spread around. And as the sport of paintball continues to spread internationally, the only way to keep track of the happenings? With this magazine, Paintball 2Xtremes. Hey, kind of like our show, 400 plus photos per issue, 30 articles, all you can handle. And it's a full-time, full-tilt operation to get this thing out there, believe me.
Over 100,000 issues of PB2X magazine are printed every month, reaching nearly 500,000 readers. And these pages bring the world of paintball right to your own home, thanks to the effort of a group of hardcore pros.
We usually have 3 or 4 photographers and 3 or 4 writers at each event, and they're assigned specific duties. And we shoot a lot of photography. The best way to get great pictures is to do accuracy by volume, we call it. We shoot 5,000 or 6,000 pictures at each event, and we use about 50. The best kind of photos are action, when you can see a ball break on someone, or a ball in the air, or someone diving over a bunker, or making a great bunker move. Great photography sometimes inspires great writing. Sometimes great writing inspires great photography. So it goes both ways.
While the editing and page layout are completed, the most important decision for the month, the cover, is finalized. And once completed, the issue heads off to the printer.
Once everything has been signed off on, the printer then has the go-ahead to go direct to plate, at which point in time the plates are ready to go up on press, and we're off and printing a magazine. The insert portion of the magazine is printed in different sections. Rather than just go up and press and print the whole thing in one shot, they break it down into different sections to make it more manageable.
While each issue is a creative effort, a publication is also a business with special needs and demands.
I get all the advertising in, handle all the subscriptions, all the calls, all the emails that come through here. Basically, I'm air traffic control for the magazine.
After all the components of the magazine are assembled, it heads to the post office and the newsstands. and the staff goes back to work cranking out the next issue.
Trust me, those guys with the magazine keep busy 24/7. And here's what you can expect to find in the October issue in your mailbox or on the newsstand. A look at event coverage, a profile of Joy Division, Sweden's top team, and an interview with Carmen of Reds. Pretty colorful stuff in this sport, huh? Welcome back to Paintball 2Xtremes on Spike. You know, some of today's top markers can spit out over 1,000 rounds a minute. Well, if you're impressed with that, wait till you meet this dude we found that's going to tell you all the paintball gear info in 60 seconds, starting now. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
One of the most important things when you're out there playing paintball is the protective equipment you wear. These are the Empire tournament pants. These are designed with the player in mind. This right here is a loop so that you can hang the pants, let them dry out, air out, good cleaning every night after you're done playing. We also have the molded EVA foam pad for your harness when it's bouncing against your back. This thing will actually help protect you from that. We also tried to get the best possible closure for your waist with Velcro and snaps. Probably the most important thing in a player's pant is your knees. We have a light padded knee with the Cordura base. There's also a four-way stretch above it, so when you make impact with the ground, it stretches instead of rips. Even though it's double-stitched, it's still protection. These are a lightweight nylon material as well, and very breathable, all the way up the inseam of the leg with a stretch across the crotch. So from top to bottom, Empire pants have you protected.
Well, just a couple minutes ago, we saw some scenario game action from the International Amateur Open, but when it came time for the 5-player finals, Jake and Elwood had to step aside for a heavy-duty battle between Doc's Raiders and Defect.
1, 2, 3, play ball! Yeah, play some ball now. And how fired up is everybody for this IAO 5-man amateur final? Even the referees are breaking it down with Doc's Raiders. Doc's Raiders versus Defect. Let's get it on.
That's right, James. Here we see Defect. In the starting point, we just saw Doc's Raiders in the red. Break out. The front players move to their front positions. You can see they're not shooting. They're just trying to get to critical spots. The back players are throwing cover fire. They're also, along with this cover fire, they're trying to shoot some runners, which they've done here. They shot one in the breakout. There's a Doc's Raider in the white box there in the center of the screen. So the Doc's Raiders are down 4-5 in the beginning of this game.
And with that, JJ, a little change of strategy for guys like Morgan Delacroix and the rest of the Doc Raiders.
Yeah, they have to get a little bit of a holding action here and try and keep Defect from pushing any further. Defect's going to try to push that right tape. As you notice, they put their front man far up on the right. The rest of them are playing pretty deep right now to cover him.
Yeah, he got out of that gate fast. And here's another Doc's Raider going down. And Defect making a little move. Everybody's moving up. The middies moving up, filling seams. Defect came to play here at the IAO.
Yeah, they're shooting cross court real well right now. This guy, he's here on this right side. He's anxious to go. You can see him. There he goes. There he goes. He's heading for the snake. Now, he plays his snake well. He can destroy the team from there. I don't think Doc's Raiders saw him move up.
When a lot like a football field, you get inside an opponent's 20 and you're in the red zone, it's really at that 50-yard line. It's that magic yard line, if you will, in paintball, isn't it, JJ?
Exactly. When you get to the 50, especially here on the tape, a person has great angles. Now, here's Doc's Raiders trying to react. They're moving up their left. I don't believe they're not aware of anybody in the snake. Morgan's moved up blind. When this guy comes up out of the snake, he should just destroy some people. Very patient, doing a great job. The snake's popped up, obviously. We're seeing some Doc's Raiders stand up. There's another one. There's two. They both shot from the snake.
So 2 down. There's a great bird's eye view of it. There's your guy in the snake, Morgan Delacroix, the only guy left for Doc's Raiders. There he sits. And it's an uphill battle right now for Doc's Raiders.
He's 1-on-5. He's trying to joust the snake. He's lost. He's gone. Yeah, that's it. Defect's going to come down the field now. They'll go for the flag. Notice they're a little bit cautious. They want to make sure this is for the championship. This is the win. Big news.
It's what it's all about. So delayed a little bit, but a celebration nonetheless for Defect. What do you say we go check in with our winners?
Yesterday was a rough day. We came back today, played a lot harder. I mean, it meant a lot more. So, I mean, we played hard. We did what we had to do to win.
When we come to these tournaments, we like to walk around and talk to the fans and sometimes even test their knowledge. So we thought we'd ask them if they knew what was inside of a paintball. And everybody knows it's polyethylene glycol.
Well, it's gelatin.
Isn't it vegetable oil?
Fish oil, I thought.
Yeah, vegetable oil. Intestines from pigs or something?
What it's made out of? Never thought of it.
I think it's a soap substance.
I know there's soap in it because whenever I wash my clothes, it gets all sudsy.
It's water-based. Do you know what the paint in the paintball is made out of? Paint.
Paintball 2Xtremes is brought to you by Diablo. Play with fire. Empire. It's a lifestyle. And by National Paintball Supply, King of Paintball. Hey, welcome back to Paintball 2Xtremes. I'm James Bates, and admit it, the show pretty much shreds. We've seen a Bruise and Blues Brothers battle, introduced you to some of the sport's youngest guns, and taken you inside Paintball's best magazine. And now we check in with Jennifer, who recently caught up with one of the guys that pioneered all this.
The game of paintball began over 20 years ago. Author Charles Gaines and a handful of his friends played an elaborate version of Capture the Flag on 100 acres in New Hampshire. The magazine articles were printed, the public responded, and the rest, as they say, is history.
One of the stories referred to me and gave the town that I lived in, and we started getting hundreds of letters from all over the country, people saying, how can we play this?
Those early years were a far cry from the high-tech sport we know today.
Nobody could have imagined this back in the day. We were playing with pistols. They were bolt-action pistols. We were on 100 acres fields. You might, in the course of a game, you might shoot 5 times. And now these things shoot 18 pellets per second. I've loved watching the tournament play, which I think is just tremendous, and those guys are incredible athletes. And I think you'd have to call that now a sport. But the extrapolation of what we started is in this scenario play.
Recently, Charles had a chance to play for the first time in years, and it was an experience.
We were talking before I got in the game, and I said, now listen, I don't want you guys not shooting me because I'm an old man and stuff. I mean, I'm just a player out here. I want you to treat me like a player. But I had a great time, and I was able to mark a couple of people, so it was tremendous fun.
You know, another thing that got Charles Gaines' attention was the advancements in safety. And anything that keeps you safe and shooting is tops in our book. And today, J.J. Brookshire shows us how to keep your CO2 in CHECK. That's check. Keep it in check. When it comes to safety, sometimes the smallest things make the biggest difference. And JJ, these guys are a perfect example. Burst discs.
That's right, burst disc. They're small, but they have a big job. I'm going to loosen this one up, which I've already kind of installed loosening. Take it out and you can see it. Well, look at this. This is a copper disc attached to a brass fitting. The copper disc is designed to rupture at a certain pressure. In this case, with a CO2 bottle, it'll rupture approximately 3,000 psi. It'll then dump the contents of the CO2 bottle before the bottle itself is at risk.
And when it does rupture, it puts on a little show.
Yeah, it does. And at the end of the show, you have a cylinder like this. The cylinder is all frosted over. Could cause some frostbites. You got to be careful touching something like this. But other than that, the cylinder is not harmed. Just the disc ruptured and did its job.
And you aren't harmed. The reason this got too cold is because either got too hot or it was overfilled. Now, when the real problem comes in, and where the harm can come in, are the burst disc sizes. There are many different sizes. You've got to let a professional install it. Somebody that knows what they're doing and puts the right size in there, because it could be catastrophic if it doesn't.
That's right. If this was your cylinder, after it warms up so you can touch it, take it to a professional. They'll then install the proper disc back into the cylinder. They'll fill it. It'll be fine, can be used all over again, no problem. If you were to put the wrong disc on a cylinder, you could have a potential catastrophic failure of the cylinder. That would cause tremendous damage, could cause death or tremendous property damage.
Be very safe for us, and then go have fun playing paintball. Well, just like that bottle, we've warmed up quite a bit, but now it's time to chill and head out. But there's lots in store for next week. We'll hit the Northeast Open for some 5-man action, meet some marker-carrying mamas, and make you see the wisdom of getting good goggles. Well, I certainly hope you enjoyed your first taste of Paintball 2Xtremes on Spike, and we really, really, really want you to come back next week. For Jennifer Pierce and all of our crew here, I'm James Bates. We'll see you when we load them up again next time.
was born too late to play against the pros. I don't know Bob Long, never met Rennick Miller, standing with a Mac. I'm paintball's fastest gun. Go out, get funky, get painted, have fun. Don't got $1 million, don't drive a Cadillac. Give me half a chance, cause I'm not dead yet. Now